In part 1, we walk through 7 dental floss brands, from the one your dentist hands you for free to the biggest store brand in America, Oral-B Glide, Colgate Total, Listerine Reach, Amazon's Solimo, CVS Health, Burst, and Target's Up and Up. Every one of them carried a PFAS marker in independent lab testing, from a trace of 16 parts per million up to nearly 250,000. If you missed that video, watch it first, because now I show you the part that actually matters. Why it isn't 7 problems, it's 1. You just sat through 7 brands. A peer-reviewed study linking one of them, Mars Glide, to higher PFHXS in human blood. A federal lawsuit dismissed on legal grounds, not because anyone proved the chemistry was harmless. And PFAS indicators from a $9 refillable floss down to the cheapest store brands, sometimes reaching into the tens or hundreds of thousands of parts per million. Here is the playbook. Step 1. Coat a fiber in PTFE or use fluorinated processing because it glides better and gliding sells. Step 2. Never put the word PTFE where a customer will read it. Step 3. When researchers find PFAS, say the polymer is inert, and count on nobody asking about the processing residues. Step 4. Keep the product on the shelf. That is not 7 separate stories. That is one story told 7 times at 7 price points. And here's what I can tell you from inside this field. In the European Union, regulators are no longer debating whether PFAS in consumer products are a problem. They're working out how fast and how broadly to phase them down. A broad group restriction under the REACH framework is moving through the committees right now, with the scientific opinion from the Risk Assessment Committee largely complete and the Socioeconomic Committee's draft opinion under public consultation in 2026. A final decision is expected only after that. The American floss aisle hasn't gotten the memo. Before we fix your bathroom, one plot twist. Because if you've been on Instagram, you're probably already thinking about it. Cocofloss is the brand that shows up in every clean living carousel. Spa colors, coconut oil, founded by a dentist and her sister, $9 a refill. It's the floss people buy after they've already heard about PFAS, the one you graduate to when you're done with Glide. Remember Burst from part 1? Same influencer aisle, same premium price, same clean promise, but a fluorine signal in testing. So does Cocofloss actually hold up? Here's the honest answer, and it's more complicated than either side of the internet will tell you. When that same independent panel screened 39 floss products, Cocofloss came back non-detect for organic fluorine, no PFAS signal. The company also states in writing that its floss is made without intentionally added PFAS or PTFE, and that its materials are regularly tested by an ISO-accredited lab for known PFAS compounds. On the PFAS marker test, Cocofloss passed. But here is where I have to be straight with you, because this is exactly the kind of thing this channel exists to catch. Consumer Reports, a source I trust, and the one I'm about to cite for the clean pics, does not put Cocofloss on its top safe list. In their floss guide, Cocofloss lands in the more cautious group, flagged for material concerns, not the best tier. So you have 2 respected sources pointing in different directions on the very same product. How can both be true? Because they're measuring different things. The lab screen tested specifically for organic fluorine, the PFAS marker trace, and Cocofloss passed that specific test. Consumer Reports weighs a broader materials picture and how much a company has publicly, independently documented over time. A non-detect on one screen is real evidence. It is not a lifetime guarantee, and it is not the same as ongoing third-party verification. So here's the honest version. Cocofloss tested clean for PFAS in the data I can find, and it makes a clean claim in writing. It is very likely a better choice than anything on the avoid list from part 1, but it is not a closed, everyone agrees case, and if a brand wants your trust permanently, the standard is current, published lab reports you can actually read. Receipts expire. Keep asking for new ones. Don't let any brand, even the pretty, founder-led one, permanently outsource your skepticism. So, if Glide, Colgate, Listerine Reach, Solimo, CVS, Burst, or Up and Up are in your bathroom right now, what do you replace them with? 3 picks that tested clean, each with an honest limitation. Safe pick 1, dental lace. In the same lab screen, silk-based flosses like Bamboo Earth and Wow Silk tested non-detect for organic fluorine. No PFAS signal above the lab's detection limit. Dental lace sits in that same category. a silk floss in a refillable glass vial, marketed as plastic-free and PFAS-free, with no PTFE in its materials, and Consumer Reports also lists it among its PFAS-free options. Honest limitation, silk is not vegan, and it can shred on very tight contacts. Pricing at the time of recording is typically $6 to $9 for a starter kit, refills for less, depending on where you buy it. Safe Pick 2, Dr. Tung's Smart Floss. Dr. Tung's Smart Floss was initially flagged in early lab screening, but the company went back to the exact same lab, tested multiple batches, and published the full results. No detectable organic fluorine and no detectable PFAS across an expanded screen of more than 40 perfluorinated compounds. Consumer Reports also lists it as a PFAS-free choice. I'll flag the obvious caveat myself. That retest was company commissioned. What makes it credible anyway is that it used the same independent lab, multiple batches, and the full data was published rather than summarized. That's a meaningfully different situation from a brand simply claiming clean with nothing behind it. Honest limitation, it's thicker than Glide. If your teeth are extremely tight, the first week feels different. That thickness is also why it cleans more surface area. At the time of recording, you're usually looking at about $4 to $6 per spool in most online shops. Safe Pick 3, a vegan option, Radius, or Etee. For a vegan plastic-reduced option, the same lab screen identified products like Radius Sponge Floss and Etee's plastic-free biodegradable floss as non-detect for organic fluorine. Again, no PFAS signal in the lab data, and Radius shows up on the PFAS-free side of the Consumer Reports Guide too. These use plant-based fibers and waxes instead of PTFE, and they sit in the same general price band as Dr. Tung's, roughly $5 to $8 depending on format and retailer. Honest limitation, they don't feel as frictionless as PTFE. That ultra-smooth Glide was literally the Teflon. None of these companies sponsors this video. Nobody paid to be on this list and nobody paid to be off it, so let's bring it home. One peer-reviewed study that found higher PFHXS in the blood of women who used Glide. Elevated organic fluorine in mainstream brands from Glide to Colgate Total to Solimo and up, sometimes reaching into the tens or hundreds of thousands of parts per million. 3 brands that tested clean, and not one explicit PFAS warning on a single label across the whole aisle. Go check your bathroom right now. If your floss says PTFE, or if it glides like plastic and the fiber isn't listed at all, you now know exactly what that smoothness might be. Tell me in the comments which of these brands you'd been using the longest. And if someone you love flosses with the one in the little white bag, send them these 2 videos. The system is not broken. It is working exactly the way it was built to work. The coating sells the Glide, and the Glide never has to explain itself. Read your labels. I'll read the studies. See you in the next one.